That's what I'm hung up on. Like, Jam, in all my years mining, I've never had a pizza party thrown for me.
Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it at Massive Press on itch.io. Today, the DBC Crew embarks on a new mission. After meeting with a mysterious agent named John Smith, the group agreed to investigate the sudden loss of contact with a periphery settlement. The lost settlement is connected with the mining and retrieval of iridium alum, an incredibly valuable and rare resource. So valuable, in fact, that the existence of the settlement and resource deposit are a closely guarded secret of MantiCorp, the client behind this contract. Now the DBC charts its course to the Jacophy system. With recent events front of mind, a new mission ahead, and the Corsac investigation of AO Station behind, let's check in with our pilots. It's been about a day since you've all left the system with AOS in it and started your journey to the Jacophy system. It's going to be about a week in transit to get there, based off of the coordinates that were given to you all by John Smith. I told y'all that I was going to give you a little bit of downtime on the way there. But first, why don't you all tell me what you're doing?
All right. So COMET is going to be continuing his training with oh boy, forgetting her name. Torsay. Terrible. And he's going to be like running hacking simulations with her and stuff, and just like trying to keep his skills up to par during the downtime while they're traveling.
Okay. Now, did you think about ahead of time what you wanted to do as your downtime action on your trip out here?
Well, yeah, I was just sort of thinking like he would be training. Was there other stuff I should have been thinking about that maybe I forgot to do?
Well, there's a list of downtime actions that are like literal mechanical things you can do to get things like resources to start your next mission with bonuses.
Looks like someone was a little unprepared. Why don't we switch to
fine.
someone else?
Todd, here's a hint. There's a thing called Get Focused.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So Todd, based off of what you said, it looks like we might be doing for you Get Focused. You focus on increasing your own skills, training, and self-improvement. You might practice, learn, meditate, or call on a teacher. Sounds pretty much exactly like what you said.
Yeah, I was just pretending like I forgot. That was my plan the whole time. Definitely get focused. Mm-hmm.
Good acting.
So, name what you want to learn or improve.
Okay, so can I increase one of my pilot
No, those
triggers?
are too powerful.
Okay.
Those things you only get from leveling up. If you give me, so like, let me give you an example. A thing that Evelene did in our test session was she did a downtime thing that allowed her access to like a +2 trigger to use technology to distract people, right? Like her little improvised explosive that we used in the first mission, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So it's something on that scale. It has to be more specific and less general than the traits you get from leveling up, or it'd be a little bit too strong on balance.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how about you know how I have that subjectivity enhancement suite? Basically the cybernetic enhancement that he has built into his wrists that allows him to hardwire into things. Could he work on like improving the efficiency of his enhancements? Maybe give it sort of like a one-time boost or something. Like add something like a consumable nitro boost to it that will allow him to better interface with whatever he's wiring into.
Yeah.
In my head, I had an image of like this little spigot come up and him take this tiny little CO2 can of NOS and just stick it in there.
Absolutely. You're like green
I suppose it makes more sense
out.
than trying to charm it.
Yeah, so just from the suggestions from Get Focused, it says the action can be used to learn something like starship piloting, cooking, chess, boxing, history, or etiquette. It should usually be a specific non-martial skill or something personal to your character. So what I'll say is better use of your subjectivity enhancement suite does make sense for something to be getting better with. And it makes sense that using that would allow you to hack better than someone just using a keyboard. So now that you're proficient in its use because of all this training, yeah, go ahead and go to your character thing in CompCon, and there should be a section to like add a new skill trigger. You can just go ahead and put in, +2 for your subjectivity enhancement suite.
Okay.
And then when it comes up in narrative play, you can just, call that out to me. Hey, can I trigger this? And we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that is Astro. And that's what he seems to be doing most of the trip there. How about the others?
I'll go next. That'll give people time to look up that PDF and look through the downtime activities if they hadn't. Not saying that Astro didn't, but I'm not calling anyone else out either.
Yeah, I was playing.
So
that
I would
time
like
frantically.
Yeah. It might be page 50 in the PDF, or if you're following along at home and you want to look through.
Yeah.
Or go into the active sheet in CompCon and just, click that arrow on the right-hand side and it brings it up automatically.
Or if you're fancy like me, it's on page 53 of the giant tome I was shipped.
Oh, does downtime activity not start at 50 on the tome?
Downtime actions is on page 53. Downtime itself starts on 50.
Got it.
Yeah, so the actions start on 53.
Cool. All right, so I'm specifically looking to gather information about where we're going. I don't really have anything much fancier than that. I'd like to know, I guess, about any people that are there, settlements, anything I can find out about them, or if I get lucky, any kind of information about complications that we don't know about, that kind of thing.
Damn it. You took
Okay. So I got you there. So the things I need from you, and you already gave me half of it, is subject. You want to know more about the settlement you're going to, the people there, the stuff that's there, basic information,
Right.
Planning ahead stuff.
And I assume we have a database of information that I could look through for something like that, but...
So this is why I need you to name your method as well, because... very specifically, this settlement is not in public databases. That's basically like the whole point of it being a hidden settlement. So if you give me a convincing thing you could be looking into to find this information, we can move on from there.
Do we have the ability to communicate with them? Like if I were to send signals there?
Okay, if you want to, yeah. Let me put it this way. There is a way, and we've come to this one or two times in Astro's stuff. There is a way to send non-delayed messaging directly to something that's a few systems away, but it's costly. Like it's an expensive thing to use, and it's not super available. You can log into that service basically, while you're in one of the systems. So like in your next stop, right? Like, so basically you're skipping to the system you're going to. What it looks like is kind of like you go to the edge of a system, you charge up the engines, you tunnel for a while to the next system, and then you land at the edge of the next system. And then it takes you a little bit to like get ready for the next jump. In the amount of time where you're just kind of like sitting in a system, you could do this. just know there is a nebulous concept of using this resource costs you guys money, but that is not anything that's going to come up unless you abuse it. So, like, using it now and again isn't going to make a big impact.
Well, I don't have anything too impactful. So I don't think I would do something like that because I don't have much of an idea of like how I would get information that way. Like if it was like free and I could cold call people and be like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Jim, your fucking car dealer, and I'm just calling to check on your warranty."
Right. Yeah.
You know.
So you could attempt to place calls in direct to the settlement, but also on top of that, remember, like, the problem at the beginning is that MantiCorp lost communications with this settlement. So, like, I imagine this is something they would have attempted to do as well. But, there are other conceivable ways I could see you getting access to this information. And just to, like, put everything on the table, like, if you wanted to try and rummage through MantiCorp databases to find that information, or if you wanted to...
We have access to those in some way?
Not...
Legally?
Legal is a very flexible concept when we're talking about the megacorps. Would they say it's illegal? I don't know.
All right. Can I like where I'm headed with this, but I want to change it if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I want to switch that to get connected, and I want to try to connect with someone in MantiCorp.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great idea.
To get information if I can.
Okay, yes. So the way this works is you need to name your contact and then roll. So who are you contacting?
Melissa Longfellow.
Melissa Longfellow. Let me make notes.
Thank God it's not Frank Lion.
Now, for one of these rolls, it is a flat D20, no grit or anything like that, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Then why does it say on a 20 plus?
There are things that could modify these rolls.
Gotcha. I rolled an 11. So basically,
yes.
According to this, it works, but I have to do a favor or make good on a promise afterwards.
Yes, and what I need from you is, who is Melissa Longfellow?
I would say she is someone that I'd served with in the past for a little while. And while we're aware of each other, and there's a little bit of that there, it's not like a close relationship.
Okay. Kind of a like a.
You were there on that hill that day too, right?
Yeah, it's what do they call people who in passing through work relationships? Man, I'm
acquaintance or.
Yeah, like
acquaintance.
Occupational acquaintance.
Yeah, I guess acquaintance.
Correspondence.
Don't worry, I'll remember it like 5 hours from now when we're done recording.
Sure, just blurt it out randomly.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll do a pickup later when I can't sleep, and I'll come over to my Audacity and I'll just record myself saying it, cut all of this out, and just drop that in.
Brilliant.
Like
dedication right there.
Colleague?
So maybe colleague was what I was looking for. So she's like moved into the private sector, you think? Like she's someone who works for MantiCorp now?
Yeah, for her own reasons.
That makes sense. All right. So I will play Melissa Longfellow. Let's see. So you're right. Get connected. On a 10 through 19, your contact will help you, but you have to do a favor or make good on a promise afterwards. If you don't follow through, treat this result as a 9 or less the next time you get it from the same organization. To contact someone at MantiCorp, you would have to use like a one-time call of, the
but having
like,
a reason for it,
device. Yeah, exactly. So, you pull up, one of the visual screens, and on the other side of the screen, after a kind of moderately lengthed hold, you are eventually connected to Melissa Longfellow. You see that she is seated in what appears to be an office. It is apparently like her working hours right now. And she kind of like looks at the screen and you on the other side of it as the connection comes in with a little bit of curiosity.
Hey, Mel. I'll just kind of like wave with a smile.
She like mimics your smile, but it's a little less genuine. Hi, I haven't seen you since the service, right?
Right. It has been a little while. Things are treating you well. I've heard that you're doing okay there.
Yeah, I am doing fine for myself. How about you?
Decided to go a bit more freelance in my approach. Currently working with a Lancer team. Actually doing a job for your organization.
Ah, okay. Is there something you needed?
A reason I'm calling you? Yeah.
She like looks visibly relieved that you caught on. Like, why are you calling me?
Look, we're picking up this job for, you guys, but it screams sketchy all over the place. Part of the reason I'm calling is one, I want to know if the guy that's actually working with MantiCorp or not. He went by the name of John Smith. I'm sure you'll be able to find him quite quickly. And two, I'll explain what our mission is. We're looking for this hidden base and make sure everything's okay, but if you have any information about it, it would really help us out.
It's gonna take me some time to put some of this together. I might be able to look through our confidential databases and see what I can find out. Are you gonna be in one place for a while?
We're in transit now. We've got a couple days to go before we'll reach it there.
All right. I mean,
look,
I can see what I can do for you, but this is an unusual request.
And I don't want you to put yourself out or get in trouble with anything here, but I'm concerned with the lack of empathy for anyone that might have been colonized to there, if you understand what I mean. I kind of give her a look like, how to describe it?
Like, call me later. Come hither.
No, just like this kind of deadpan, like, we both understand the point I'm making.
She, like, nods at the screen. I'll look into it and contact you back. If I don't get you, I'll leave you a message to contact me.
Just nod and go. Just stay safe. Watch forward.
Yeah, you too. And then the screen just cuts off. All right, well, I would say after... It's probably going to be a little bit before she gets back to you. I think probably what happens here is that after your next jump, you're kind of like at the next system forward, essentially. So like another day from now, you eventually get another connection request. And it is Melissa contacting you back this time.
Okay.
When you sit down to kind of take the call, she is on the other side of the screen. She seems a little bit more on point for this conversation.
Sure.
Now that she knows like what's going on and what to expect. Hey, I was able to look into that information you wanted. Pretty secret stuff there.
What it sounds like.
I know you're going there for a mission, so I don't know why they wouldn't give you some of this information unless they didn't want you to have it. So, listen, I'll just set it right down for you. I can go over some of this stuff with you, but I need a favor.
What's that?
Well, after I started looking into this, turns out an acquaintance of mine is on that planet, or was on that planet. I just thought I lost track of her.
Anyone I might know?
No, someone I met after the service. If you're going there, I don't really know what's going on other than the official reports. So, if you find her, I want you to just make sure you can put her in contact with me.
If that's, of course, still possible, I'll try my best. I mean, I also don't know what we're really walking into, so can't make promises, but the whole reason I'm kind of getting information from you now is hopefully to save anyone and everyone that's there.
Well, seems like you're going to have some work ahead. She looks down at some documents on the table in front of her. Iridium alum, huh?
Some sort of fancy rock.
Yeah, you could say that. You'd also say it's probably one of the most expensive materials in the whole sector. They went out of their way to make this stuff obtuse. Jacophy system. Looks like you're headed to planet NQ4 HD 189733B.
I heard their beaches are great this time of year.
She, smiles cynically at you. From what I'm seeing here, there's only 1 or 2 major settlements on the whole planet. The city and infrastructure that's built up around the spaceport, and maybe a smaller settlement that's closer to the actual mine itself. That's a little bit hazier. It seems like there's requisition orders and buildings there, but they don't really give anything a name here. The settlement around the spaceport is called Flus Delta, but I can't really tell if they ever formally established that other settlement, or if it's just like a miners' camp.
Okay.
Says here that we lost contact with them about 2 weeks ago. It also says there's been a lot of reprimands, a lot of official reports of reprimands for some of the workers and leadership on the planet.
Shit. That's what I was kind of worried about. So are we looking at a possible revolt?
I'd say that was possible, but listen, MantiCorp already used some of their long-range sensors and activated some of their assets on planet to look into it. There's no one in that city.
No life signs at all.
No, I didn't say that. I said there's no one in that city. There's not a single employee badge left there. There's not a single tenement that's still drawing power from the grid. The entire city is dark.
Huh. That's odd.
I'd say so.
And, I mean, they've checked multiple times, or was it just once or twice?
Over the past 2 weeks, they've checked 7 times.
So it's not like any kind of the tricks we used to pull to hide either.
It might be something different. It's hard to say. There's also reports in here of increased, well, let's just call it piracy on some of the trade routes between the planet and its nearest trade partner. Really just a resource depot for MantiCorp. But it doesn't look like any reports of outsiders being seen on the planet, or at least nothing officially reported to MantiCorp by the people there.
Alright. So, we should expect to be careful on our approach then, I guess.
It looks like, well, it looks like their spaceport should still have all the facilities you need to dock there. So you should be able to still land in the city if you want to investigate. Doesn't look like you're going to have a whole lot of luck refueling there, so I hope you brought enough fuel to get home.
I assume that we have, but...
You guys are more than okay.
Okay.
You can double check that with Evelene later, but generally you guys keep enough to like do like 6 or 7 of these trips before needing to refuel.
Good deal.
You
Because you asked a question, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I don't think Rock would know either, but that's probably something you'd look into like after this conversation. Be like, oh, okay, that's like 1/7 of the amount of fuel we have.
He's thinking like, I probably should have thought of that before we left.
No, you should just go rogue and say like, no, we don't have enough. Just throw everyone off for a loop.
Alright, well, that's more information than we had before, albeit it doesn't tell us too much, but it certainly helps.
Yeah, this is weird stuff. That's why I decided to tell you in the first place. Because it's so odd.
I mean, do you have any kind of ideas or feelings about what's going on here? I mean, you said you had a contact here at some point.
I haven't talked to her maybe 4 years.
Alright, well, whatever's happening has happened in the last 4 years then, I suppose.
I didn't even know she was there.
Got it. Alright, well, I appreciate the help. I'll do my best to find her if I can. Just send me her data over.
You got it. And do me a favor. Don't let this come back on me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She just nods and terminates the call.
I just like compile all the information that she gave me into like a written form.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually
she transmitted to you the readings. Like so like she was talking about the various reports and stuff. She, with the communication, sent over the 7 readings that they pinged Flus Delta with to see that there's like no active machinery. So like there's actual like electronic reports and stuff that you can examine yourself if you want to. There is also a couple of basically like little reprimand sheets of various leadership and workers on the planet.
So eventually we can either do this now or we can wait until later. I'd like to compile all the information and kind of have a meeting with everyone and present it to them and get their thoughts. And I wouldn't know probably heads or tails of some of the data about the machines and what MantiCorp got, so I'd probably ask someone else on the ship what they would make out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that whenever you want. This whole trip. It's everything's happening over this trip. So if someone else wants to have this information before they do whatever they do, that's possible.
Okay. What do you guys want to do that now, or do you want to do your thing now?
I think
Shipwide
you
conference?
announcing that will tie into my thing, because I was actually going to do gather information.
It doesn't impact what I was going to do. So go ahead, Chuck. Then if we want to do this, and then you can go.
Yeah, like I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around what I can do, since I think Jay just got most of the information I was going to collect. But let's at least have that meeting.
All right, so I'll call you guys into like our meeting room, Torsay as well if she's able, and just explain. So I have this contact at MantiCorp. Here's the information I got. It's weird. No machines there, nothing on. They pinged it 7 times. I don't really know what to make of this, to be honest. It looks like a revolt. Something.
But you said
either
no people?
Well, no signs of people. So no data cards getting swiped, no electricity in the city. If I'm understanding that correctly, no electricity or power, right, Bob?
Yeah, there is no sign of any of like the employee like data cards anywhere in the city, and also no signs of anything drawing from the power grid. Basically, that information is relayed to you as various reading sheets that are basically like diagnosis system reports that MantiCorp ran on the settlement. And that's what information that Melissa sent over to you.
All right. So what I am leaning towards is it looks like some sort of revolt, judging from the reprimands that had led up to it and such. I don't know if they're in hiding or trying to mine the minerals themselves and trade them off to pirates or smugglers or whatnot. It's hard to say. The other option that I can think of, just offhand looking at this, is that someone took the planet over. And it's as simple as that. They moved the people in to where they need to be to work, and that's it. And they're not running anything extra.
It seems like they would have gone through a lot of trouble just to turn everything off. They took over.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
how hard would it be to hide that signal?
I don't know if any of that matters. For every time this material gets mentioned, it seems to raise everyone's eyebrows, and they talk about how expensive it is. Sounds like it's worth whatever kind of trouble they could get in here.
You wouldn't be piloting that mech if you didn't have that material.
It's used in mech making then?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a very important material. Our mechs would be useless without it.
It's the power source.
Well, there you go.
Corporations go through a lot of trouble just to hide where their mining operations are. So, you better believe that if someone finds it, they're going to sell that information for a premium.
One more thing, on a confidential note before you all dig into this data here. We have to find someone there. I'll get the data to you about her, but she was related to my contact in some way. She knows her somehow. She wants to make sure that she's okay.
Was she also sent by MantiCorp?
I didn't ask too many questions. I'll see what's on the data that she sends me.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but it certainly would make sense that if she's going there, that she likely works for or is affiliated with MantiCorp in some way. I don't think they're going to send anyone here that they don't have to.
Well, it seems like we got a big mystery on our hands.
Gang.
This, in my mind, I'm just imagining from the movie Serenity, that city they go to that's all abandoned, where the Reavers come from. Is that?
That was the movie, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I keep thinking of.
We're not on the mystery machine.
If there's Reavers, I'm out. I'm out.
I'm betting there are Reavers.
Well, that movie didn't have a high survival rate for pilots. So.
Oh God.
Oh wow. I mean, you're
That's
not
true.
wrong, but wow.
It's probably been over 10 years. I don't remember exactly when the movie came out. Probably 15 if I had to guess. Still too soon.
Yes, it'd always be too soon.
Tudyk, how dare you make me care so much?
I can probably work off of this if you don't mind me going next, Jeremy.
Go right ahead.
So I'm thinking that so I was actually planning on doing something similar to Jay, but I think I can spin this to do something a little more unique. I could see that maybe 15 years. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted.
We noticed.
It's very easy apparently. So Evelene's looking through the docs and she sees a name that kind of jumps out at her, and it's a maybe like one of the like an employee roster or something. Maybe someone who's not. It could be someone who's no longer working there or whatever. But like she sees someone she might know and would like to see if you can get a whole contact with them. See if like you can get a better insight in like maybe like the political climate or like what was going on leading up to the planet going silent.
So that is based off of the assumption that someone would have left the planet and would be contactable by you.
Well, maybe not necessarily contacting that person, but maybe people. She knows people who knows that person, so like maybe you can collect information around that.
Okay. I'm trying to determine how available the information you're looking for is to determine whether or not this is like a good access route for you.
I was hoping to spin this in terms of like the word on the street trigger. So like I would imagine that like within like mining circles that people would know stuff. Like I mean maybe if I may have a name, this may not be the name of the guy, but like Jerry. If Jerry's not available, like she probably knows people who know Jerry, and like that whole circle of miners might know something.
Okay, you know what?
If
Jay,
that's a bad idea, we can drop it.
I have a question real quick. So even though downtime actions aren't like a mission check, you can still trigger skills on them. So Jay, you got an 11, so activating triggers is not going to get you over 20. Okay.
I got a lot of triggers. Just kidding.
Yeah. Do you have 10 worth of triggers? If so, you could not have failed that check. So Chuck, when we do this, you might also want to look at your triggers, because I'll allow you to use triggers to make your thing go better.
Yep. That's why I was mentioning word on the street. I have that trigger.
It's 6.
Okay, that's gossip. Okay. Here is my suggestion, like an offer here for you. Evelene also comes from a mining colony, right?
Yep.
What if you have people you know who are people who do shipping? Like, you know people who do shipping because they would come to your planet, like stay a few days while they would like get their haulers loaded up and then leave with all the stuff you guys loaded in, right? And it just so happens that there is one of those that you find out has been on the MantiCorp payroll to like do the shipping runs to this planet. How's that?
Yeah, that works out perfectly. Sure.
I think that's a good inroads there. So tell me, what downtime action are you using there?
Gather information.
Okay. So here's the thing with gather information. There's a slightly different tinge to it, because it kind of calls out things like conducting research, following up on a mystery, tracking someone, going to a library, going undercover. And I think what you're describing is a little bit more like what Jay did, which is get connected, like having a contact that you can talk to and ask something of.
Yeah, that does make more sense. I was hoping for a little more deviation, but yeah, it does seem
So,
like it's
but
more connected.
if you want to use gather information, there are routes I can give you that would give you like a gather information role. Things like Jay just got a bunch of those reports. Like you could study the various reprimands and the sensor data that MantiCorp went over, or something along those lines.
That could be interesting, sure.
But it's up to you. I want to make sure, you know, doing a social thing's available to you, doing a research thing's available to you. Just want to put your options on the table.
Actually, let's do get connected. I think it feels like it'd be more Evelene's style to be just getting in contact with the shipping person, rather than doing all this heavy research. Like I think if she knows someone, she's just gonna call them up.
Okay. And when you do a get connected roll, name your contact.
So this could be a very terrible name. If you want to rename him, that's totally cool. I just made up the name with it literally 5 minutes ago. Jerry Mason.
But is he a Mary Jerry?
I just like the idea of just saying like, "Hey Jerry, it's Evelene." It's like having that initial real quick banter.
You could, but Jerry Mason likes to go by Jam.
Damn it. Okay, Jam. Fine. I'm not gonna question God.
So you call up Jerry Mason. And you go, "Hey, Jerry." And he's like, "Jam, please."
I don't go by Jerry anymore. Come on.
So one of those things where he didn't even turn around and look at the monitor, so he was calling, or he's like, "Jam, please."
Yeah. Pretty much. Hey, you see him like swirl around in his chair. What you see around him are various monitors. He is wearing like a little headset with like a almost like a little eyepiece that can like lower down over one of his eyes. He is wearing a flight suit, and he is fumbling with a sandwich in what appears to be 0G as he turns to look at the screen that has you on it.
Classic Jam.
Geez, I never thought you'd have so much trouble eating a sandwich before.
Evelene. Hey, I'll have you know that I would have already been eating this sandwich, but all of a sudden my monitor started ringing.
Look, you know I'm just giving you the shit, right?
All right, yeah, whatever. What can I help you with?
Yeah, I got a question for you. You might know the answer to. What do you know about? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. Loose Delta.
He like looks around conspiratorially. Go ahead and roll.
Oh boy. So, do I get a trigger on that?
Tell me what you're triggering.
Word on the street.
Yeah, this is gossip. He's a gossipy guy. So if you're looking for gossip, you can add a +2 onto your trigger.
Gossip is his jam, right?
Yeah, man. Jam's jam is gossip.
He's gonna be a recurring character, isn't he?
No. I just saw Parks and Recreation.
I was just
jam.
gonna say, you got jammed.
You got jammed.
I'm always scared.
This guy has like foofy hair and has like the silky Chinese robe.
I think I've never seen Parks and Rec. You're gonna have to send me a picture later.
First of all, how fucking dare you?
I rolled poorly. I rolled an 8.
All right, on a 9 or less, your contact will help you, but you have to do a favor or make good on a promise right now. If you don't, they won't help you.
Oh, jeez.
So Jam says, "Listen, Evelene, I don't know where you heard that name, but you best forget it. That's not something I'm supposed to be talking about."
Look, is this about the sandwich? Come on, you know me.
This is... Why would this have anything to do with the damn sandwich? And as he's saying this, he's getting worked up, and he loses his grip on the sandwich, and you just see it spiraling over his shoulder as he, like, reaches for it. But he's, like... You only now notice he's, like, strapped into a chair, so he has, like, very limited, like, rotational control. So he's, like, trying to, like, reach back with his hand and grab it, but he can't actually turn around for it. He's like, "God damn it."
I'll just fold my arms and kind of like nod my head, like as you were saying.
I have a question that I just have to ask. If he's in 0G, what's keeping this sandwich together?
Nothing.
It's a tightly made sandwich. It's all like Evelene, as you peer closely at the sandwich that's rotating behind his shoulder, you can make out that the sandwich is various pastes that are binding the sandwich together and holding it taut.
That's
I was going the toothpick
it's not
with
like
the
a
olive
lettuce
route.
and ham sandwich with a bunch of peppers on it or something, Todd. Come on.
Okay. Fair enough.
I like
Hold
how
on.
the sandwich has been the most detailed thing in the session so far.
This is, before we move on, did any of you know there was an astronaut who stuck a sandwich onto a space shuttle and had exactly this problem?
I did not know that.
This
I'm learning
thing
a lot.
literally happened. He snuck a sandwich onto the ship with him, and he said something along the lines, he's like, "Hey, Joe," or whoever's with him, he's like, "Hey, Joe, check out what I have." And he pulls out this sandwich, and as he unwraps it, he realizes what a horrible idea that was, as it just starts like floating away, like all the pieces start floating off of it. And he's like, "This was the worst decision I ever made."
That poor sandwich.
That's great.
I guess back to the actual plot. I'll say, like, look, what do I gotta do to get you to like give me something at least? Come on.
Well, I hear there's been a little bit of recent upheaval in your edge of the sector.
I mean, it might have been.
Well, you can't call me and ask for the business if you ain't gonna tell some yourself.
Okay. And I'll just hold up my hands, like, okay. So what you're talking about? AO Station? Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, were you there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we were there for a bit. I mean, like, there's some stuff going down. Like, and I'll just kind of scratch my chin, trying to decide how much I want to actually say.
Jam like looks at you and he says, "Well, listen, I know some people at MantiCorp who are real interested in knowing what happened there, because apparently it's some big damn secret. And if I'm gonna get some more business and a little bit of jam sandwich, I'm gonna need something to trade off gossip wise,
All right. I mean, look, what do you want me to tell you? Like, Corsac showed up. I mean, I guess that's common enough knowledge. I mean, I think anyone on the spaceship would have seen that happening.
Come on, if you don't have something that ain't the boring stuff I could read in the magazines, then I can't use it.
Okay, fine. Okay, look, there was an attempt to take over the station. I mean, I don't know what they were going for. This is like there was just some kind of sealed vault, and actually, as by coincidence, yours truly helped take them down. I don't know what they were going after, but we stopped them from doing so, and we were never told what was there.
What'd you do?
What? I mean, just a bunch of mechs, I mean, that's literally that's my job description right now. I'm not mining. I'm fighting other mechs with my mech.
That was you guys? Holy damn! Wait till the guys hear this.
Is that more your jam?
You know it. Well, that's gonna be something interesting to look into. Anyways, what you looking for with Flus Delta?
Look, all I know is, and I'll do the same kind of motion that he did about like being like shifty-eyed, even though there's literally no one else here.
Oh, he appreciates it.
Yeah.
This endears you to Jam.
Look, all we know so far is that it's gone quiet. We don't know what. God, I'm doing the Jam voice. I wasn't trying to. It just
oh,
sucks
it's real
you in.
hard not to do the Jam voice.
I mean, look, all we know is it's gone quiet. We're going there to investigate, but it'd be really nice to know what's going on. Like, there's been some rumors about like some sort of revolt or like something happened where it's just like there's no sign of like employees doing anything anymore. I don't know.
Well,
if,
that's
there was
damn odd. I mean,
you telling me?
Last time I was there doing a pickup, I did a little bit of R&R in that there Flustelta City. I usually only stay near the spaceport, but I could swear, everything was going fine. But that was a month or two ago I last ran that route. What you saying happened there? I know I haven't been assigned to it again since.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I mean, all we know is we're being sent to investigate.
Well, I can tell you what I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw me something at least.
All right,
not a sandwich.
See. What were some of the interesting things I learned about that Flustelta? Oh, here's a nice one. They have a bit of a what I would call a vermin problem. They have
assume
to.
You're not talking rats.
Nah, probably bigger than that. Else I don't see why I'd be so miffed about it.
Okay, what kind of vermin?
Well, I was talking to some guys at the the local cantina, and they were talking to me about the job they do. They do these things where they deal with these. They call them sonic resonators. Say they have to run the routes every day. Go around the chain. There's some big chain around the outside of the city. Keeps things away. So apparently there's something on that planet that they don't want in their city.
Clearly. I guess I'll have to look into, what the heck, is this a common thing with sonic resonators? I don't know too much about them, I have to be honest.
Hell if I know. That's why it sounded interesting. That's why I remembered it.
Yeah, no, I'll that's definitely useful.
And what else? They also said, oh, well, one of them was saying that his boss was getting run up the flagpole by one of them corporate pen pushers, saying they weren't meeting, what are them things called?
What is?
Yeah, quoters.
Now, I know you know what a quota is.
Well, the way he described it sounded like a goal, or like one of those things when you get a pizza party.
What?
When you do enough work and then they're like, "Oh, you did a real good job, Jam. We're gonna throw you a pizza party."
Jam is paid strictly in pizza parties.
I know, right? That's what I'm hung up on. Jam, in all my years mining, I've never had a pizza party thrown for me.
Holy shit, you better renegotiate your damn contract.
I mean, there's things called bars, and they'll cover your drinks for the night. I mean, that's, equivalent to a pizza party, I suppose.
Why do you think
sure,
I
get that
too.
I get paid. Sometimes I get my drinks comped. They always cover my rooms when I'm staying places. But sometimes, if I beat out Earl in the monthly meetings, they throw me a pizza party.
Clearly, we're missing out. I'll have to give Astro a talk about that.
Hey, you talk to your boss and you tell him you demand a pizza party.
You hear that, Todd?
I want Jam's job.
Yeah.
I think we need Jam on our crew, quite honestly.
We do, honestly. just let's swap out Evelene, bring in Jam.
He's going to negotiate hard on his contract negotiation with you to get that pizza party.
Hey, I'm willing to cede some ground in that regard.
I think Jam will get along well with Astro Jamin.
Okay. All right. You got anything else, or is that what you got?
The Nightly Tap has good drinks.
Well, if we ever need to get a damn drink, we know where to go.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to extricate myself from this chair to go get my sandwich and get on with my day. So you take care.
Yeah, I'll send you some wraps. That'll probably be a little easier to use than that sandwich.
I like my sandwich.
All right. Talk to you later, Jam.
All right, see you, Evelene.
Yep. Hang up, and then I guess I'll have a similar meeting that Brock just had about what I was able to find out.
You mean about us getting pizza parties, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's item 1. Item 2 is to
I'll
talk
take
to
it
Taco
under
Jam.
advisement.
Torsay is nodding, is like, I haven't had pizza in like a year.
We used to throw pizza parties when we'd wrap a film. That was always fun.
Am I the only one who's ever had a pizza party in this ship?
Wait, like
Maybe?
ever? Like never ever?
Well, I mean, there was like the book club, like when you were like in elementary school.
Okay, Evelyn, that settles it. We're having a pizza party when this mission's over.
Wait, as a kid you had book club instead of pizza parties?
Well, no, like you read.
I don't even know if I'm there, but I am now, I guess.
Yeah,
This is actually
It's
based
a
on
team meeting.
Yeah.
This is actually real life experience here, but no, like you read like 5 books in a year or something like that, and you get a pizza party.
Your
You ever had that?
childhood sounds terrible. I'm so sorry, Evelyn.
Oh, excuse me for being illiterate.
Hey, we had a program like that too, but we had to do like 3 presentations and 2 oral reports before we got our pizza party.
That doesn't sound too bad. It's probably easier than reading books.
Pizza party.
Oh, we had to
universal
read
reward.
a fair number of books to put together the presentations.
Fair.
Well, yeah, for
I stole
sure.
a book from a library one time.
Was it a good book?
I just kind of shrug a little bit and go, well, we weren't really given many books as kids.
I'm sorry, but who has time for books? That's why we have movies.
And movies
Torsay
based
just
on
like
books.
shakes her head.
And the movie is always better than the book. Come on, guys, this is basic.
Well, I'll agree to disagree, and then Dyne will just walk out.
Torsay says, is that what you said when you were out on the media tour for the novelization of your movies?
Well,
Because
okay.
it sounds like you aren't going to sell a lot of books that way.
I mean, you have to be diplomatic when you're on those press tours, but everyone knows it. Come on.
She
I'm gonna
just
walk
shrugs
out
as
with
she walks
Evelyn.
out.
And as we're walking out, I'm going, we might be able to maybe, like, cook some rations, and that might be like a pizza. We can look through the kitchen if you want.
It's probably not the same.
Probably not.
So, good. The big takeaway was Evelyn never had a pizza party, and there's absolutely nothing else we need to concern ourselves with.
Yeah, no
Who's
one
next?
has to talk about any of the information Evelyn learns.
I will forward the other information too.
All right. So, then we have oh yeah, because Astro, you already did yours. So yeah, Dyne.
Yep. So Dyne happens to remember back when we were on AO Station, where he had a problem with the mech and it accidentally fired. In the ship. Not that
Yeah,
Astro
that whole-
remembers that.
It was
That
only
old
one time.
chestnut.
So during this time, Dyne, let's see, what was it? I believe it was going to go with either get creative or get. I don't think get focused. I think get creative is more what I'm going for. But he wants to input since he saw what the problem was. He wants to input create a software for like a one-time auto. I want to say auto adapt, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Like a program that at least one time, if the problem were to reoccur, it would auto shunt the energy to another location so that he wouldn't have to figure out in a way in the middle of combat to deal with it.
You wouldn't have to figure out which part of the ship is most expendable.
Shoot it below you so you get like a jump.
Obviously, I'm going to shoot it above because I want a sunroof.
Now you're thinking.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and make a get creative roll for that. So you describe your project. So now we just need your roll. Are you going to activate anything for this?
Well, let me see if I even have any. Let's see. I have survive, investigate. Investigate, I think. Research a subject or study something in great detail. I think Dyne would have to investigate in order to figure out the precise cause of what caused the energy shunt or what caused the energy to overflow. I think so. That's applicable.
I think that's only part of your project, though. None of this is like material to the thing you're trying to build.
In that case, I don't really have anything that applies. Patch, stay cool. Stay cool doesn't apply because I'm not under pressure to create this.
I'm willing to entertain the investigate, but only if you really push for it because it's kind of on the edge.
I think I'll pass.
Okay. Then yeah, you can still go ahead and make a flat roll.
So roll. An 11.
All right. On a 10 to 19, you make progress on your project, but don't quite finish it. You can finish it during your next downtime action without rolling.
Okay.
But you have to choose 2 of the following things you will need. Here is the options. Quality materials, specific knowledge or techniques, specialized tools, a good workplace. So which 2 of those 4 do you want to have to get before you can do this again?
Okay, so let me take a good look at that. Probably specific knowledge or techniques, because while Dyne knows the problem, he may not have the knowledge to solve the problem. I don't think quality materials really applies here. And the best, it's a software going into a mech, so I'm not sure workplace applies. So probably specialized tools.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am landing on this too. Specific knowledge or techniques, so you'll need to learn how to do this, and that's what you've started here.
Yes.
And then the other part is specialized tools. You'll need you realize that what you're trying to do, your mech's already a custom job. You're creating a custom on-the-fly solution to an already custom job. You're gonna need either to fabricate like your own specialized tools or find someone who does very specific specialized work in order to move this project forward next.
Right. Yep. No, I agree.
All right, yeah, so just go ahead and mark that down on your sheet. We'll do that like we've done some of the other downtime rolls you've done before. Just keep track of that you got an 11 on your get creative for the energy shunt.
So it's going to be a project, so get creative for shunt. And I will add this in.
Yeah, because the next time you do that on your downtime, as long as you have the materials, you just complete it. Basically, at the end of this downtime, you're like, okay, I think I know what I need to kind of do. I just need to look a few things up theory-wise to make sure I'm not screwing anything up. And then I need to get, like, blank tool that does blank to actually put it in. And then I'll be good.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, that is all of your downtime actions. What do you guys do over whatever remaining days, over your few days on trip to the planet in the Jakafi system? Are you guys communicating with each other, talking to each other, doing specific things, talking about what happened recently back on Eos? Like, where are your guys' minds going into this mission?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be talking to people and saying like, Well, I hope Ren's doing okay back on Eos.
Can you just contact them?
Well,
I'm
I
not sure.
contacted
I'm not
them.
sure that's a great idea at this point.
Yeah, it seemed when I contacted them right before we left, seemed like they were dealing with a lot with what's the name of the authorities that were
Corsac?
there? Corsac, yeah, with Corsac there. Just a little worried what Corsac's up to.
I honestly think we should probably not contact them until we get back. I know it's been a few days, but who knows if they're still there.
Yeah, I agree. But I assume whatever barrel was after in the vaults at Eos, Corsac probably has a vested interest in that as well, and so they're probably, checking up, make sure they didn't lose anything of value.
That's a possibility.
That's my wild guess, anyway.
I personally think it's more likely the information about that mech that we encountered. After all, they did tell us to delete the data.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I keep forgetting about that.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Unfortunately, we did have to delete it, didn't we?
We did.
Damn.
We have
wish we kept
no
it.
trace of what happened.
None whatsoever.
Is Rock or Torsay in the room?
Narrator says, that's not true. Little did they know. Well, at least we won't be in trouble with them, I guess. But yeah, eager to get back and see where things stand. Oh, how do you feel about this mission? This is looking to be pretty dangerous, I would say. Got some strange vermin. Vermin. Yes, whatever.
Marvin, are we going out to where Jam is now?
I mean, look, as long as like our mechs are in good shape, we'll just do the best we can, and just don't die this time.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get, once we get in orbit, maybe we could do some like scans of the planet or something and see if we could get any more information before landing. I mean, that's what we did in a couple of my movies. Ships work like that? Probably, right?
I don't know if I'm actually there or not, so I don't know.
I kind of want Torsay there just so I can look at her. I just want Torsay to be there so I can look at her and say, like, does it work like that?
Huh? What? I wasn't listening. She looks up from like a comic she was reading.
Can we run some like scans on the planet when we get in orbit? See what we can find out.
Oh, yeah.
Biological scans, that sort of thing.
I mean, I don't know what kind of ship you think you bought, Astro, but no, we don't have like a military biologics sensor on the ship.
Damn. Okay, well, it's worth asking.
I mean, I was planning on, running a few readings on the city when we get close for a landing, but I mean, it's not like this is a survey ship.
Well, any information we can get is good.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll have to do.
So, just right up an itinerary for all of this, we got like what? And I'll just kind of put this card counting off on my hand. Like, one, we got to figure out what's going on. Two, we got to figure out what happened to this contact, which I assume we do eventually get a name.
Oh, yeah, I have the name here. It is Gene Mariolis.
Okay. And then 3, we gotta find this bar that Anjan was telling me about. He said that they have good drinks there. But maybe say that for last when everything's worked out.
I mean, if no one's even on the planet, I don't think the bar will be operating.
I mean, unless they're drinking all the booze, I think a bar's always operating.
Was that
I mean,
the?
they could,
We were all in that meeting, by the way, right?
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Evelyn and go, was that the takeaway of what the information you got from him was?
Well, I mean, obviously there's the vermin, though. Like, we don't have a goal to investigate vermin. It's just like we know that there will be vermin there.
Did he say how the last time he was on the planet?
About a month ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna say if the bar is the lowest thing on our list of priorities, but hey, if everything just goes well and there's no problem, sure, we can hit up the bar afterwards. I don't feel good about our chances, though.
Well, when we get down there, if there's pretty much no one on the planet, you wouldn't have a problem getting a drink at the bar, although if it's been 2 weeks, I'm not sure you want what's there.
Yeah, maybe
assess
like
the situation once we hit the ground.
sounds like a plan. Well, I have nothing else.
Yeah, I would
I'm
imagine.
gonna go hang out in my room and watch a couple of my old movies if anyone wants to join.
I'm gonna go do a quick checkup on the mechs.
The mechs are fine. Come on. I'll make popcorn.
Dyne starts walking out of the room. He goes, "You never know. The mechs might make another hole in the ship." As the door closes behind him.
then Astro thinks about that and he's like, yeah, on second thought, maybe you should check up on the mechs.
I mean, I'm kind of our pilot, so I feel like I should drive the ship, but maybe later, Astro.
I would imagine like it's on autopilot for most of the trip, right?
Suit yourself, he says.
Do you say that out loud, Chuck?
No, this is Chuck asking because I feel like Evelyn would know the answer. Just I don't always know everything that the character.
I imagine when you're in like jump where we are, there's probably little to no piloting needed.
That is, yeah, generally correct. As you're kind of like, it's one of those things where you get to the edge out of the well and you're like, okay, I need to go to the next system over. You just kind of like set it so it can do the calculations, like burrow you in and line you up for the jump. Like most of your piloting takes place in between like the edge of the system and going down the gravity well to like the planets and stuff like that. So when you're navigating actual space, that's all you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Well, yep. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know what they say about warp flight? No left or right.
I guess
Only
so.
going plaid. Ludicrous speed. Go!
All right. Well, if none of you have anything else for the trip, over the next few days, it kind of like is the same thing. You guys are just preparing, doing the various things you've done over the last few days, and eventually you'll arrive at the Jacophy system. I assume that Rock takes back control of the ship and starts piloting you down well to planet NQ4 HD 189733B. And eventually you get there. As you approach the planet, it is very obviously a... how to put this, like as you're approaching the part of the planet where you know you're going into land, you can very much tell it's other than probably the settlement they made unoccupied, because it just looks barren almost. Like it looks so empty from orbit. Like even as you're like going down through the atmosphere, there's like you see nothing. It takes you till Like, it takes you, like, basically just monitoring the instruments the whole time to even tell you you're headed towards a city.
Now, we are landing. There's no. I thought we were going to a spaceport.
Yes. Yeah, there is a spaceport there.
Okay.
Is that what
Well,
you tell me? Is that what you guys want to do?
We don't need to go to that spaceport, I suppose.
We don't necessarily have to land at the spaceport. Let's talk about this in character. So, like, what do you think, Rock? Should we land there? Should we land outside the city somewhere? What do you think's safe given our situation?
Well, we should at least try to radio in and see if there's anyone at the spaceport. Because if there is, then that might answer a few questions for us. But there probably isn't.
Well,
'cause
we're going
I
to
assume
have to
this
get
is a
closer
manned
anyway. If I'm going to radio into them, we're going to have to be closer anyway. And remember, I wanted to do a scan of the city from what we have. If we decide not to land there, we could always, just take off and go somewhere else. But we're going to have to at least get within visual range of it.
I think I was confused. I imagined a spaceport in orbit, but this is a spaceport on planet.
Yes.
I had that confused. Excuse me. I imagined this was an orbital spaceport. I'm like, why aren't we going there first?
No. Spaceport as in an airport terminal, but for spaceships.
Yeah. I got that now. Yeah. Then ignore me. Let's land in the city.
Okay.
All right, so on your way down through, eventually you guys arrive above Flus Delta. As you're pulling in, Torsay, like even through the clouds, has already like started running her various sensors and reports on the different instruments of the DBC. Very quickly, she goes, "Okay, well, ping the spaceport." No response. Scan of the city shows nothing. I'm basically getting just geographic data as if it's all terrain, which means there's no power in any of those buildings, or else it'd be showing up as something else.
I guess that means the sonic resonators are down. So the city's probably crawling with whatever these vermin are they wanted to keep out.
In retrospect, maybe we should have made one of those sonic resonators to keep them at bay.
What was that?
What?
Sorry?
You got something?
No. She like very curiously looks at her data. No?
Explain.
I thought I did, but I don't know.
Was it a life sign?
I don't know. I'm looking at like the energy readings for the city. That's odd. For a second I could have sworn there was something there.
Can you pinpoint where that was?
Only from memory, I can probably guess a general area.
Well, maybe we should do a flyover and see if there's anything interesting.
I mean, that sounds like a plan to me.
All right, Torsay, talk to Rock. Tell him where he needs to go.
All right, Rock. She sends a few things over to kind of like your terminal by your little pilot area there, and kind of gives you just kind of a small section of the city that she thinks whatever this like ghost signal was might have been in.
Okay.
All right. So as you do a flyover, she pulls up on the main screen, kind of like the exterior cameras on the main screen, so that you all can look at them, like as you're flying over top of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just looks dead. Like it looks still. Like it's very, very empty in the area below you.
Torsay, could that signal have been a glitch in our systems?
Yeah, it could have been.
Well, it could have been, but it could have been something else. I think maybe we should mark that location on our maps and maybe investigate it once we land.
I'll fix a point there. You'll be able to pull it up when you're out there.
All right, roger that.
All right, so what are you guys doing?
All right, well, I guess Rock, take us in for a landing at the spaceport.
All right.
Or get suited up.
All right. As the DBC lowers down towards the Flus Delta spaceport, the condition of the surrounding city becomes even more apparent. The entire city has gone dark, and more, while most of the city appears to be just abandoned, some of it has obviously taken some damage, with large buildings collapse and fissures running through some of the streets.
Wow, this is a lot happened here since a month ago.
Yeah, I'm like thinking about that myself. Like, what could have happened in such a short amount of time?
Something bad.
These must have been some damn big vermin.
Well, we don't think that maybe this vermin is like what attracted to electricity, so everyone shut everything off.
I don't
I mean,
know.
it's possible, I guess.
It could be, or it could be whatever attacked them, cut off their power supply.
So here's a question. Should we head over to the power station and check that out? Or whatever the equivalent of the power station on this planet is. Maybe we can gain some insight.
That's not a bad place to look. Yeah, I think we should check there if there's a power station nearby, and we should also check that area that Torsay got the strange readings from.
One other thing, Torsay,
Yeah.
can you scan for geographical locations, specifically anything subterranean? I want to see if there's any kind of caves or systems like that.
This isn't a prospecting or a survey vessel. I mean, I can run like a little mapping program over the surface, but unless it opens to the air, I won't get a sense of it.
Okay, how about like we've got Omni tools. What if we set up some Omni tools and set them up in a few locations outside? Maybe we have some way to like drill them down so you could ping them and use
If
those to bounce off of it to find tunnels.
Now
If-
you're thinking like Star Trek. And just modulate the phase so it can pierce the barrier.
You use it to ping off of. It's like sonar, right?
if you can get them in the thing I'm trying to scan, like if you are able, like those fissures out in the street, if you're able to get into a couple of different ones of those and get them down in there, then I could probably run something through them and have the data come back to the ship to interpret. I just don't know what that's going to look like until we do it.
I shrug and go, that's something to try. I mean, if there's anyone here left, they're probably in some sort of caves or shelter. We didn't see anyone moving on the streets. This place is abandoned, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Agreed. Yeah, if we can get any information about these fissures and if they lead to any underground areas, that would be very useful to know.
Hey, Evelene, where'd you put those readings that MantiCorp took?
Wait, don't you mean Sorry. Yeah, I got them right here. Here you go. And I'll just pull them out.
Yeah, she'll take them from you.
I thought Rock took these. Forgot these.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah, she would have asked Rock for them then.
Yeah.
Rock, do you have those readings that MantiCorp had?
I would have handed them out to everyone back then, so she would have had a copy. But if she doesn't have one on her,
She wouldn't have had it on her to bring in here. No.
I can get you another copy. I don't have any on me at the moment.
Yeah, when you get a chance, I wanna check some things.
All right, I'll do that. Evelyn, can you hook up some Omni tools to, like, I don't know, boost their signal or something, so we can, like, leave them places?
Yeah, sure. Give me a little bit of time. I can get that rolling.
All right, I'll go get you your data and then start getting our gear ready then.
Yeah, I mean, your stuff should all be good to go. I have all of my support stuff pulled up here. Just yeah, give me that data. I wanna start going over some things.
Are we going to mech up here, or?
Well, that's up to you guys. I mean, they're ready. It's a city, so you guys can probably go down the main streets with them, no problem. But if you want to go into the buildings and stuff, I don't imagine there's a lot of access points for the big boys.
Clearly, something bad happened here. I say we mech up to do at least our initial survey of the surrounding area.
Better to have them than not.
At the very least, you'll get to where you're going faster. Getting there on foot's going to take you a while.
I agree. I mean, we can always get out of the mech if we need to go in individually, but we should definitely bring them at least.
I was just waiting for someone to give me a reason not to go in them, so I didn't hear that.
So
well, if you want a reason not to, there is no reason.
Well,
someone
I mean,
spilled a
you're going
drink
to be way more visible in them, but in a city that's completely still, we did just land a spaceship in their port, so we've probably been seen if there's anything here anyway.
This is true.
What time of day is this?
Hard to say, but it's bright out. It's probably some equivalent of noonish.
Yeah, I was thinking more like difference between daytime and nighttime.
Yeah, it's daylight.
Okay.
Torsay, any idea if there's something resembling a power station in around the city?
I don't really have a map of the city. It's not like they gave us, their civil engineering information about this place when they gave us the contract. And with all the power shut off, the scans are just reading them as buildings. I mean, we can make some educated guesses based off of where things are located and what the buildings look like from the outside, but I'm probably only going to be able to narrow it down.
Well, we'll have to go with that. Well, let's see what we can get with our initial survey, and we'll work from there.
She quickly goes over the data and she marks out 3 different places that look kind of like more industrial areas. And she goes, well, any of these look like they could be a power station or a factory or some kind of fabrication plant. But you'll have to go in person to see. There's no way to tell with all the power out.
All right, well, here's what I propose. I think we should set up the Omni tools, and following that, we should investigate the area that had the strange signal. If we could get more information, we can check out one of these possible power stations. Does this sound good to everyone?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, no complaints here.
All right, let's get suited up.
And I feel like I should say this most importantly. We should never split off alone. If we need to split up, we'll go in pairs, but never alone.
But we always split up in the movies.
That's a good way to end up dead.
Astro, how many times has someone died in those movies?
Almost every time, come to think of it.
let's go for a boring movie this time. You know, just like where no one dies.
Okay.
I didn't know you guys were going to be out there doing a rom-com.
She's right. Those aren't exactly the most entertaining, but they are the safest.
Wait, Torsay, I can explain. I don't want to hear it.
I just pinched the bridge of my nose. Like, let's go.
As I
Already.
come back into the room with a data pad. Here, Torsay, here's the information you were looking for. You guys about ready?
Oh, thank you.
And Rock, the straight man.
Rock is definitely the straight man.
All right, yeah, I think we're ready to go. We got a plan in place.
All right. Well, you guys head down to your kind of makeshift hangars in the lower cargo hold sections of the ship. You kind of, run the program to have the side doors of the ship open up, and you can make your way out from the spaceport into Flus Delta proper. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just curious, just like sort of a logistical thing. So we're setting up like these Omni tools. So is everyone going to have an Omni tool in their pilot gear then?
I was
Like, how
hoping
many-
that I could store some like Omni tool hooks that we can't use, but just would like ping in like one of our mechs.
Just like so we know where everyone is.
Yeah,
No,
you can
no, that-
specifically take this because you like prepared it for a plan. This is not something like you would go on a
Okay.
mission being like, I have 5 Omni hooks for no reason, right? Like,
Right.
Like-
Yeah, because this isn't even like I don't even care about the Omni hooks. We don't need a full
Yeah.
Omni hook. We just need it to ping, right?
you just basically need something that the ship can use to examine the area. So
Okay, yeah.
that's not a big deal.
Cool.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. Nice.
I'd say like
I'm
each
a
of our
fan
mechs
of
may
you
have
doing
like
this plan.
what 3 or something. What? I don't know. I would. So my thought was like they would be on these rods or something, and each mech would just have like 2 or 3 rods each. That
Oh
they
yeah,
could,
yeah.
like,
No, it's totally like a long silver rod that has a tripod at the bottom, and then towards the top, it's like a cylinder with like a little red, like a red or green light on the side of it,
Mhm.
and then a little antenna coming off of that at the top.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so as we leave the ship, I'll radio Torsay, and I'll say, Torsay, you have like the surrounding geographic data. Can you mark the closest fissure for us to go check out?
Yeah, of course. It looks like there's one in an intersection not too far away. I'll put it on your map.
All right, thank you.
Before we go, do we have to check in with MantiCorp, tell them we're here, or what?
They know we're here. As long as we check in with
Yeah,
information like they want and get this operation up and running again, they'll pay us quite a bit.
I have a feeling they'll just be annoyed with us if we bother them with no new information.
Also, how do we contact the people we need to contact for that? I kind of assumed we'd just go back to the station and he'd be there, but did he give you some sort... I'll look at Astro. Did he give you some sort of way to contact him?
This is Todd not remembering if he did or not.
In the same way that you can contact people, you can contact AO Station still.
Okay.
You might need to do it from your ship, though. Your suits, your MCs, are not outfitted with that kind of
Sure.
communication equipment.
And he was staying on AO Station.
Yeah,
John
he
Smith
wasn't.
was.
John Smith was not leaving. He was going to remain on AO Station. Well, I mean, he didn't really give you any other information. As far as you're aware, he's on AO Station.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just say, yeah, as far as I'm aware, John Smith is still on AO Station. If we need to relay any information to him immediately, we could probably radio Torsay and ask her to do it from the ship.
You'll also remember that technically on the contract you signed, he is like the person who's listed as your employer, not MantiCorp,
Right.
because they didn't want to reveal who you were working for. So he's kind of your intermediary.
Right.
And he also said he would disavow you if anything went wrong. And as far as like most of MantiCorp knows, you're not working for them. So keep that in mind. Like, you're not on the books. You're not official.
So if we did try to call up like Manticore properly, they'd be like, who the hell are you? And what are you doing for us?
Oh, hey, you're that former movie actor, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, can I have your autograph? And why are you calling me?
Doesn't Taratella have you blackballed?
Blackballed.
Yeah, that's a touchy subject. All right, so
That baseball player really hates you, right?
Okay.
all right, so let's head to the fissure that Torsay marked for us. Try to get set up.
All right, so you guys start making your way through the city. It's a big city. Like for being like a planet that's barely settled, this city is like capital city level city. It is probably millions of people lived here. There is enough like residence areas, manufacturing. This place could probably have been fully self-sufficient. Which is also why it is absolutely crazy that it is 100% empty. Like, there is not a person here. As far as you're aware, there's no sign of life here. You'll know from the atmosphere and the readings in your suits, and just like the amount of venting, because you guys don't want to waste all your oxygen, like, because the atmosphere is breathable. So like, even just the little bit amount of atmosphere that comes through the filters into your suits, this is a dry planet too. Like, most of the planet outside of this city is scrubland. So it's all like practically like savanna and like barrens with like very few foliage. Going through the streets here, it's like very obviously dusty. Like, the streets, after like people not doing upkeep or traveling on them, as your mechs move along, you're leaving like mech-sized footprints in basically sand and dust in the streets.
So a few questions for like world building, I guess, questions. Is terraforming a thing?
Terraforming is a thing. Is it a thing that any of you would have any experience with?
Yeah,
Highly
no,
unlikely.
No, I wouldn't hack that. But like,
that's for rich people.
Okay, but it's possible. So like, would a city like this have weather controls then? Would like it normally see rain and stuff, or would it create its own environment and atmosphere, or is it just like, yeah, it's kind of dusty on this planet, but like we make do?
Yeah, it's more like that. If the what you would know, especially I would say Orion and Rock would know this best because they had to go from place to place a few times. If ever a settlement or a colony was built on a place that is that inhospitable to life, it would be built in like a little habitat, right? Like when you build on a moon, you build it in like a big bubble, right? Or something like that. Like, the fact that this is open to the open air means that the environment, while not ideal, is dealable enough that like they don't need like an atmosphere enclosure to deal with this planet.
Okay. Sorry, I was just curious.
Yeah. You would know that there are examples of terraforming, but it's one of those things that is like government level, like century-long project kind of thing. Like, it exists, but it's not like the magical style of terraforming. It's like we slowly plant seeds on a planet and build out sector by sector by sector over like 100 years to eventually turn it from one thing into another thing.
There are giant ships filled with water that like bring it in and drop it or something.
Yeah, there's like literally scaffolding that gets built above the planet that people live on that are working on the planet below them over generations, right? Like before the planet is done being terraformed, it's almost like there's a mini community planet there already, just people living on the superstructure that's built around the planet while they're doing the terraforming.
That's interesting.
It's not cheap and it's not quick.
It's not cheap and not quick. Yes. The only reasons you've ever seen it done is very like a planet that is like in exactly the place it needs to be kind of stuff. It's like only very Goldilocks planets are ever done this to. Right? Like it has to meet a lot of criteria that are like, oh, it just happens to be in exactly the right place that we want a planet that can do this there, but there isn't one, but there is this other planet that's close enough that we can turn it into what we need it to, right? Like, and plus there has to be someone rich enough and interested in enough that is willing to not see it happen within their lifetime, but is still willing to put up the money to make it happen, right? So there's a lot. So that's why there's probably only maybe like 3 success stories in Cygna State history of that ever happening on a world scale.
Okay.
That's not to say there aren't probably like 4 more ongoing projects that keep meeting delays.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I just imagine there's like apartment plans that like you see in like major populated areas. Like they say like, oh yeah, it's gonna get built, and it just kind of stays like incomplete for like years.
Yeah, imagine that, but like everyone is living on like a superstructure surrounding that planet, just looking at the planet not getting done year after
Under
year after
construction.
year. Yeah.
Yep.
Thought PennDOT was bad.
All right, but yeah, you guys make your way through the city, and yeah, like I said before, some of the buildings are damaged in odd ways, like really odd ways. You're not sure how they were damaged.
Why don't I when I see one of these buildings, I'll say, I want to take a closer look at this building. And I'll move in closer to just right outside the building and sort of examine the damage. What do I see? Like, what does it look like?
You're gonna have to give me some sort of pilot check to determine what do you have.
I'll do an investigate check, pilot trigger, to see if I can figure out the source of the damage.
Okay. This is going to be made with difficulty.
Sure. Let me add the difficulty and I'll roll it. Wait.
That's
I
not
don't think
difficulty.
it didn't add the difficulty, so I'll just. So I rolled a 19, but let me roll a d6. Okay, I rolled a 3.
All right, well, that's still above a 10.
Cool.
So, Comet, you actually, funnily enough, it is your experience with cinema that helps you here. This was like made to be this way. Like this damage was intentional. Like when you examine it, you can tell that there is something off about the way part of this building was destroyed. It almost looks like it was prepped for something. I'll tell you right now, as you're investigating it, you get very lucky because what happens is you notice that it's like off, that it was like designed to be damaged in this way, and you stop getting closer.
Okay.
Because when you look more closely at the building and the damaged area around it, you start to realize how precariously balanced the rubble seems to be. It almost looks staged in a way to you.
As if like it's damaged for appearances, for like anyone coming by to like,
Well,
lure maybe.
let's say that if you took another few steps closer with your mech, the instability might blow out the final support holding this side of the building up, and the whole side of the building would have collapsed on you.
Yeah, okay. So once I realize that, I'll sort of relay that to the rest of the team, and I'll say, something's definitely off here. I feel like what we're seeing here has been tampered with somehow, or placed.
You mean deliberate?
Yes. If I had gotten any closer, I would have upset this whole structure and it would have come crashing down on me. But this doesn't look natural to me, the damage. It looks like it's been set up this way. It's very similar to what the crew does on some of the more big budget movies I've worked on when they set up big set pieces. And they have buildings coming down and all that sort of stuff.
So either they, and I'm just putting it out there, either someone wanted this place to look like it was under attack, or two, they wanted something that could potentially be knocked over for whatever reason they'd wanted to have a building fall down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speculate any more than that, but something's off here, so just be cautious, keep your distance, stay away from these buildings. Let's just move on to the closest fissure.
Hypothetically, if we were in a battle, we could probably cause one of these to fall down on an enemy, right?
That's
If we get ambushed, it's not a bad idea to use our environment to our advantage, so something to keep in mind.
I guess that definitely means we should not get out of our mechs and walk into these buildings. We may not come out of them.
If we have to walk into them, that's probably the best way to do it.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's not all the buildings that look damaged. Right. It is a few here and there. And you notice that it's like over there by what part of the street, over here on this little corner building and things like that as you're making your way towards this intersection. You do note you're getting closer and closer to the point on the map that Torsay has marked for all of you. And as she can see you all getting closer on the map to the site, she goes, okay, it looks like you're getting to a series of fissures that I was able to mark in that area. You're going to just have to put one of those in maybe 2, maybe 3 fissures that are all at least a few meters away from each other so that I can all have them go off at once and we can get a better picture of what's down there.
Okay, copy that.
Sounds like a plan to me.
You're the boss.
Well,
all right, so yeah, you guys head out towards the intersection. It is like a city's giant 4-way intersection. The 4 of you kind of like stomp up in your mechs, and you're coming from basically like the north towards the spaceport and heading south. As you get to the intersection, there's more road that heads further south from you that branches off in other like 4-way intersections, and then there's like a long road that cuts through the intersection going east-west that you're on right now. You can see that to the south of you there is a fissure before you get to the next 4-way intersection. In the intersection you guys are approaching right now, there is a fissure. And then a little bit to the east, there is a fissure that seems to run into like the corner building that's on the southeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. So we all are kind of equipped with our Omni hooks that we want to place, right?
These beacons that I've given you, I'm going to say each of you has probably like 3 of them.
Okay. Well, I'll set up I'll set up one of mine in the fissure that's kind of going into the building. That said, what was that, like southeast of us?
That's like on the east-west street. You'd have to head east a little bit. Yeah. So southeast of you is like the corner building. And as you kind of like, basically you go south towards the intersection and you break off left to head over to that fissure.
Okay, so I'll do that, but I'll try to keep my distance from any precariously damaged buildings as I do that.
Okay.
And I'll say to the others that I'm going to place my beacon in that fissure.
I'll head to the
All
one
right.
at the east.
That's the one COMET just went to.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Then I'll head to the one straight ahead of us.
All right, the one in the intersection, or
Yeah.
the one even further straight ahead to the south.
Probably further straight ahead.
Okay, so you kind of like walk through the intersection and start heading south along the boulevard to hit the furthest south fissure.
Mm-hmm.
I can do the intersection one.
All right, and then Chimera kind of pulls up to the intersection one that's right in front of y'all. What are you doing during all of this, Orion?
While they're doing that, I'm gonna keep a lookout for any potential movements or collapsing buildings or whatever, and if anything happens, I'll make them aware. If they're placing it, then I'm gonna be on watch.
So you're kind of near where Chimera is because you need to kind of chill in the intersection a little bit so you can see down both roads,
Yeah.
the one that Rock went down and the one that Comet went down.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, what do you guys do when you get up to the fissures?
All right. Well, once I reach my fissure, I'll pick. So it's like kind of going through the road, right, and then into the corner building.
Yeah, it goes right through the road, through the sidewalk, and into the corner building, where it looks like the corner of that building is collapsing into the fissure a little bit.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, I'll just pick a spot on the road itself, away from the building, as to not like create any more instability. And I'll place. Well, first, I'll go up to the fissure. And can I just go up to the fissure? How wide is it?
Not very. Probably like a person would fall into it, but your
Sure.
mech can step over top of it.
Okay, so can I get like a visual just looking down, like maybe turn on one of my headlights or something and just see?
Yeah. You turn on like a floodlight at the front of your mech and kind of like peer down into the fissure. You see it goes deep. It looks just like kind of like some dug up ground that's like shaken away from each other, almost like an earthquake hit it or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just odd because it's like not consistent. Not everywhere has these fissures, but some places do.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll just find like a place to kind of attach the beacon, like maybe to the inside wall of the fissure.
Okay.
And once that's set up, I'll let the others know. Mine's set up.
All right. And the others?
I think I'm not going to be inspecting the fissures much when I'm setting up. I'm gonna be mainly just thinking more about these buildings that are deliberately damaged. Like, are there any buildings that have already fallen, or are they all just have signs of damage on them?
To your west, like far to the west, you can see a building that's completely collapsed, but a completely collapsed building is the rarity. Most buildings are fine, some buildings are damaged, and there's only a couple that are collapsed.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go set up my beacon and give the A-OK.
So you just kind of like go up to the center of the intersection beacon and start setting yours up.
Yep.
All right, and then Rock.
I'm gonna put mine as far down in there as I can.
Okay, so you head towards the south one along the road. Yours is across the road just before you get to the next intersection. Yours is long and kind of like cuts across the whole street. It almost makes it so like you're walking up onto a lip and looking down on the next intersection, like your part of the road like buckled up a little bit. But you kind of like look down into it, and yeah, you can start to lower the beacon into it.
All right.
Orion, you're kind of keeping track in the center there. You all set up your beacons. And yeah, Comet, you get your stuck to the inside wall. Chimera, you kind of lower yours in there. Rock, how do you try to get yours as like low as possible?
So it's about person size.
In terms of like width, like if you were a jogger running through this city street, it's like a big pothole, right? You could fall into it.
Okay, the mech wouldn't fit in there though.
Your mech would step over it, right? Like your mech's toe could get stuck in there, but you couldn't stick your whole foot in there.
If there's any places I see that I can like set it in, I will do that to like put it in as far down as I can. Otherwise, I don't really have any way to like lower it down or anything, so I'll just put it
All right,
the
yeah,
lowest
you
point
just
I can find.
get as low as your mech can reach. Yeah. All right, you guys, all three successfully set up the beacons inside the fissures.
All right. Yeah, once I hear the okay from the other two, I'll say, all right, let's just meet. I'll go back to the intersection where Orion is, and then radio Torsay. And once we
All
do
right,
that,
so yeah, Comet heads back towards the intersection with Chimera and Orion. And what about you, Rock?
Yeah, I mean I will. I am just kind of like looking around a little bit. Is there anything reacting to us being here?
Dust blowing.
are there any tumbleweeds?
No. No
Damn.
tumbleweeds.
Space tumbleweeds.
Yeah, just kind of like dust blowing. I mean, yeah, there's no movement. It's like pretty still.
All right. Yeah, I'll head back to the others.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And once we're all back in the same place, I'll radio Torsay, and I'll say, "Okay, Torsay, all our beacons are set up."
The first
Okay.
setup.
Well, let's see if this bears fruit. Let's see what's underneath of you.
Right.
And you hear her typing away on her ends. She goes, "Okay, I'm gonna start pinging them."
All right.
And all of you can start to hear like the beacons that you set. It's actually easy to hear through your mech's sensors because they're all like all your beacons are within sensor range. Because they would actually ping off of you guys before they would even get the signal all the way back to the ship.
Right.
But yeah, like all your mechs detect the signals. And as this is happening, you're all kind of closest to the fissure that Chimera placed hers in, because it's the fissure that kind of goes across one side of the intersection you all are in. And after the ping goes off, you'll notice the fissure to your east, the one that Comet set his in, starts to shake.
I'll just radio Torsay and say, Torsay, one of the fissures.
And in the middle of you saying that,
yeah,
the building that it runs into starts to collapse.
It collapses, and after it collapses, he'll just say, "Is unstable. Just brought down a building."
There's tunnels beneath you. Yeah. They don't open up to anything big, but there's definitely, this is a weird pattern. As all of you there in your mechs start to detect a noise, like a low humming noise. And it's kind of displaying it to you. It's like, hey, what's that? Like all of your mechs are like, hey, what's this? Basically, like take a look at this thing. Unidentified noise approaching, getting louder. As from the collapsed building, you start to hear it over your general sound systems as well. You just start to hear a cacophonous buzzing noise. Just zzz, but echoing. Because there's a lot of those noises. And
wow.
Out of the collapsed building, 3, 4, 5 giant hornet-sized creatures, each one of them bigger than a car, kind of break through the asphalt and the sides of this building, and you just see rebar and stone like falling off of them, and they don't care. They just burst through it like it's nothing. And these insects start to swarm your mechs.
Think we found the varmin.
I would rather take in the rats.
Or the vermin.
Oh, yes, I
We found the garment.
Right,
It'll give us a GPS home.
Well, let's see what you guys do about these terror flies in the next session. We're going to go ahead and call our break for the night. And when we pick up after break, we'll run into combat. We'll see how you guys deal with this.
Just what we needed. Space wasps. Space hornets. Evil bugs.
Space bees.